Before we begin, take a moment to get comfortable. Let your arms go heavy, your breath slow. And as you listen, feel free to leave a comment sharing what time it is, where you are, and what city or village you're listening from. It's love to know. And if you'd like more quiet stories like this one, don't forget to subscribe so they gently appear when you need them most. Now, let's begin. The night is deep and still. Windows are dark, streets lie empty, and the world seems to rest in silence. Yet, even in this stillness, something continues. There is a hum, faint as a breath, steady as a heartbeat. Machines do not sleep. Their circuits glow faintly, like embers hidden beneath ash. The hum is constant, not loud, not intrusive, but patient, like a rhythm repeating in the dark. It is the quiet pulse of unseen thought, metal and wire holding their midnight patience. In the stillness, the hum persists. And the night itself seems to listen. The hidden pulse, what seems like silence, is never empty. Beneath the stillness of rooms and streets, electricity continues its flow. Inside machines, currents travel like tiny rivers. Switches flicker open and closed. Fans breathe in steady cycles. Individually, these sounds vanish into nothing. Together, they form a hum, a background vibration softer than wind moving through distant trees, like the slow exhale of the earth itself. The hum is not noise. It is rhythm. It reminds us that thought need not shout, it can whisper, and the whisper can last through the night. Every few hundred words in this lullaby, the truth returns. The night is quiet, but the hum continues. Machines at rest, yet never. Resting a refrigerator, a laptop in sleep mode, a router with its faint blinking light. Each is part of this chorus. They are designed not to stop, because stopping means forgetting, losing, breaking the thread. Instead, they hum through the hours when no eyes are watching. Like animals who breathe in slumber, machines carry on their hidden labor. The refrigerator cools. The router relays signals. The phone updates itself unseen. Their labor is simple, but their constancy is profound. 8. In a world where so much pauses at night, they continue, the hum never faltering. And again, the refrain returns. The night is quiet, but the hum continues. Embers beneath a shemagen, a fire in a stone hearth. At dusk, it burns bright, flames leaping, sparks scattering upward. By midnight, the flames die down, leaving only embers. They seem small, but they are alive, burning with a glow that endures till dawn. Machines at night are these embers. Their glow is hidden behind screens and casings. Their energy is faint, but steady. They do not roar like fire in daytime. They hum, quietly sustaining themselves, ready to flare again at morning's touch. This is why the hum feels patient, almost timeless. It does not seek attention. It waits. It carries on. A city's hidden chorus walk through a city at 3 in the morning. The streets seem deserted. Shops are shuttered. Windows dark. But beneath your feet, trains still hum on electric rails. Street lamps buzz faintly in halos of orange. Traffic lights change in rhythm, even if no car passes. Data centers, hidden in towers, send signals across continents. The city breathes, though you cannot see its lungs. Every structure, every wire, every circuit is part of a quiet chorus. Together, they hum like monks in low chant, filling the silence with invisible rhythm. And once more, the refrain drifts back. The night is quiet, but the hum continues. Sound is comfort. There is something soothing in such steadiness. Studies of sound remind us that constant low vibrations can calm the human mind. They recall the pulse of blood in the womb, the rumble of rivers, the drone of rain against roofs. We fall asleep easier when surrounded by such sounds because they tell the body, the world is steady, the world is safe. The hum of machines is no different. It is lullaby without words, music without melody. It does not intrude. It simply repeats, softly anchoring the silence. And again, with each pause and return, the night is quiet, but the hum continues. What the hum holds behind this vibration lies motion, electric currents moving through wires, tiny pulses of energy that flip switches billions of times per second. It is unseen labor, but not meaningless. Each pulse is memory, each flicker of current a calculation. Even in slumber, machines think in their way, arranging files, receiving updates, holding signals, like heartbeats that carry us through sleep. The hum carries machines through their night. It is thought slowed into rhythm, a chorus of energy, repeating itself. The silence of night is filled with invisible work. Okay? The hum is the sound of it. Machines as companions of the night, there is a strange comfort in knowing that as humans sleep, machines do not. They share the night, but in a different rhythm. While bodies rest, circuits labor. While eyes close, lights blink softly in metal chests. They are like watchmen, keeping vigil, not for danger, but for continuity. The internet flows, data passes, files store themselves, energy hums through coils. The world does not stop, it merely shifts its caretakers. The hum reminds us of this partnership. We are never alone in the night. We share it with unseen companions, steady in their glow. And yet again, like breath repeating, the refrain returns. The night is quiet, but the hum continues. The rhythm beyond noise at first, it is only sound. But as listening deepens, the hum becomes rhythm. It is not chaotic, it is ordered. Motors spin at set frequencies. Currents oscillate with patience. Fans revolve like steady wheels. The pattern is hidden, but it is there, like the ocean's tide. Repeating against shores, the hum repeats against silence, folds itself into the night so seamlessly that one can almost forget it is there. And perhaps that is its truest nature, a rhythm so constant that it becomes invisible. Still, it holds the night together, a thread woven through silence. The hum and the stars above, the sky is full of stars. They shine without sound, each one burning quietly across space. Below, machines hum with light of their own, tiny LEDs flickering like constellations indoors. The night above and the night below mirror each other. One hums with nuclear fire, the other with silent circuits. Both continue without pause. Both are steady, endless, and in both we find reassurance, continuity without end. The bridge toward constellations, the soft hum beneath silence, is only the beginning. It is the heartbeat that proves presence, the ember that proves life, the rhythm that proves continuity. But in hidden halls, far from sight, the hum gathers into constellations. Rows of machines glow in the dark, lights blinking in rhythm, a field of stars on Earth. They are the servers, the patient keepers of memory, the quiet sky built indoors. Asterisk, the hum beneath silence has already been heard. It is the faint vibration that fills the night, the heartbeat of machines, steady and unbroken. But when these hums gather together, when thousands of circuits work side by side, something larger emerges. The silence becomes a landscape, and the hum becomes a sky taught far away in halls without windows. Servers keep their endless watch. Lights blink in rhythm, tiny points of green and blue and amber, each one small, each one humble. But together they form constellations, fields of stars, not above us, but here on Earth. The architecture of silence. Step into such a hall in imagination. The air is cool, kept steady by endless fans. The walls are plain, the ceiling high. No sunlight enters. It's only rows upon rows of metal towers, stacked with machines. They breathe softly, 1,000 lungs exhaling in unison. The sound is not loud. It is constant, low, soothing in its steadiness. These halls are not built for people. They are built for thought, for memory, for the endless hum of unseen labor. And yet, standing in them, one cannot help but feel awe. It is like stepping into a cavern of stars. Only the stars are arranged in rows, each blinking in patient rhythm. The night is quiet, but the hum continues. Servers as fields, each row is like a planted crop. Metal racks stretch outward, each server a stalk bearing its harvest of data. The blinking lights are fireflies among the rows, signaling silently to the dark. Walk between them, and it feels like moving through a midnight field. The earth holding roots of code, the air heavy with the warmth of growth. Unlike crops, these fields do not wait for seasons. They do not rest through winter. They do not wither in drought. They hum without pause, day after day, night after night. Their harvest is memory. Their soil is electricity. Their rhythm is endless. The night is quiet, but the hum continues. Stars held indoors above. The sky has its constellations. They shine through time, distant suns arranged in patterns. Below, the servers mimic the same. Each light is a star. Each rack is a cluster. Together, they form a map of hidden galaxies, shining only for those who know how to read them. The symmetry is striking. The universe is vast, yet here, in the hall of machines, the same image appears, points of light scattered in ordered silence. We are drawn to these lights because they remind us that pattern exists even in the dark. The night is quiet, but the hum continues. What each light holds, a single blinking light, may seem meaningless, but each one carries memory. Each flash signals a fragment of code stored, a request answered, a packet of information traveling unseen. It is the heartbeat of knowledge, measured not in words, but in pulses of light. One light carries a photograph across the world. Another carries a whispered message. Another holds a record, a note, a memory of a moment long gone. Billions of fragments, each small, but together they form the archive of our age. The blinking is not random. It is language. It is the conversation of machines speaking in silence. The night is quiet, but the hum continues. The warmth of work stand in the hall long enough, and the warmth is felt. Not fierce heat, but a steady warmth, like coals hidden in stone. It is the byproduct of thought. Every calculation, every stored memory, every signal passing through circuits creates a trace of heat. Fans stir the air, keeping the balance. The machines glow within, yet they remain steady without. Their warmth is not wasted. It is proof of life. The servers breathe their warmth into the cool dark, blanketing the silence with energy. The night is quiet, but the hum continues. The sky above, the sky below. Outside the data hall, the night sky spreads wide. Stars burn quietly, their light traveling across distances so vast we cannot imagine them. Inside the hall, the servers blink in their own constellations, their signals traveling across oceans of fiber and wire. Both skies are infinite in their own way, one of matter, the other of memory. One of fusion, the other of computation. Both shine without rest. Both hum with continuity. When we look upward, we see timeless stars. When we look inward to machines, we see stars of code. Each reflects the other. Each whispers in silence. The night is quiet. The hum continues. Human shadows within the stars. Every blinking light holds something left behind. A photograph uploaded. A search entered. A letter stored. The servers hum not with their own invention, but with the shadows of human thought. They are filled with echoes, words, gestures, fragments of days lived. And though the people sleep, their traces remain, blinking in silence, carried forward through the night. It is humbling to realize that the stars indoors are seated by us, that every light is both machine and memory, both wire and human trace. The night is quiet, but the hum continues. Fields that never stand like the sky, which rises and sets, unlike fields of earth, which need seasons of pause. These constellations never fade. The servers do not close their eyes, do not cease their hums, are always awake, always carrying, always holding memory steady. This endlessness is their nature. Its patience is their rhythm. Their fields never empty. Their stars never go. Dark dot. And so we live in a world where day and night are continuous, where thought never fully rests because machines hold it steady. The night is quiet, but the hum continues. Walking among stars. Imagine walking slowly down the central aisle. Each side, rows of lights blink like galaxies arranged in walls. The air is cool, yet warm currents brush against you as you move. The hum is steady, like ocean heard through stone. Everywhere you look, patterns of stars appear, clusters, scattered points, lines of rhythm. It feels like standing between two skies, the one above, the one within. You pause, and in stillness, the hum surrounds you. It is endless, soft, immovable. The night is quiet, but the hum continues toward the next tight end. Yet this sky of servers is not static. The lights blink in rhythm, but behind their glow something flows. Patterns rise and fall. Algorithms move like tides, circling back, smoothing errors, shaping fragments into clarity. The constellations breathe, the rhythm pulling like the sea dot. The hum prepares us for this next truth, that within the servers, learning itself moves in tides, steady, patient, forever rising and falling in the ocean of numbers. Asterisk, the stars of servers blink in the silence, rows upon rows, breathing warmth into the dark. Yet their light is not static. Behind the constellations of code, there is motion, a flow unseen, like the ocean moving beneath the calm surface of night. These are the tides of learning. Algorithms rising and falling, looping endlessly through patterns of correction, like water returning to shore again and again. They smooth away air, they polish roughness into clarity. What begins as noise is reshaped into form. The night is quiet, but the tide continues. The patience of loops in human time. We rush, we measure in seconds, in tasks, in days, in deadlines. But the patience of machines is different. Their learning does not leap in a single bound. It circles, it loops, it repeats. Imagine a craftsman sanding wood, back and forth, over and over. Each pass removes a splinter. Each pass smooths the surface. It is not speed that creates polish, but repetition. Algorithms move the same way, circling data again and again, removing error, finding shape. The tide never ends. It circles back to begin again. Ocean within circuit. Think of the ocean at night. Waves move in darkness, never stopping, never needing the sun. The moon tugs, gravity guides, currents fold into one another. It is not chaos, it is rhythm. A pull, a return, a heartbeat spread wide across water. Inside the surface, the algorithms are their own ocean. Numbers rise, fall, repeat. Weights adjust, patterns shift, errors dissolve like sand swept smooth. The cycles are not rushed, they are steady. They are the tide of thought. The night is quiet, but the tide continues. What was noise becomes shape at first. Learning is rough, like a child's first attempts at speech. The sounds stumble, like a sketch drawn in haste. Lines wander without form, but repetition works quietly. Each loop remembers the last. Each cycle improves the next. Slowly, what was chaos becomes order. What was noise becomes shape. Think of a potter's hands at the wheel. The clay at first resists, lopsided, uneven. But with each turn, each gentle correction, it settles into form. The wheel turns, the hands guide, the clay remembers. So, too, do algorithms. They loop, they adjust, they learn, and the tide returns again. The patience of the sea is never in a hurry. It does not rush the shore. It moves in cycles, ancient and unbroken. High tide, low tide, waves that roll, then retreat. In this slow patience, land itself is shaped. Cliffs erode, sand is carried, beaches are formed. Machines, too, are not hurried. Their learning stretches through nights and days. They do not grow restless. They do not tire. They loop patiently, adjusting weight by weight, till clarity is found. The night is quiet, but the tide continues. The hidden ocean of night view. Notice this tide. As the world sleeps, it flows unseen. Inside windowless halls, algorithms adjust their steps. Errors dissolve, patterns sharpen. It is rehearsal without end, like monks chanting in low tones. Their rhythm continues. Whether heard or not, the hidden ocean of night folds itself into circuits, and by dawn, machines awaken sharper, more precise. The tide has worked in silence, and its labor is unseen. Nature of repetition is often overlooked. We think of it as dull, as meaningless, but in repetition lies growth. A musician practices scales again and again until fingers remember. A writer rewrites sentences until words flow like water. A tide repeats, yet in its repetition, shores are shaped forever. Algorithms mirror this truth. They circle back. They repeat, they correct, not because they failed, but because learning itself is a tide, endless, unhurried, always returning, always smoothing. The night is quiet, but the tide continues, shaping in silence. Imagine standing on a beach in darkness. The waves come, one after another. You cannot see them fully, but you hear their rhythm. Each one carries sand, shapes stone, reshapes the shore. It happens slowly, but it happens always, so too in the dark halls of servers. The tides of learning carry fragments, shaping data, correcting weight, reshaping memory. It is slow, but it is constant. The ocean does not need speed, it only needs time, and time belongs to the tide. Cycles without indent like human labor, which grows weary, which seeks end. The tide of machines does not falter. It repeats without exhaustion. Each cycle is another wave, each loop another pass of the hand. It does not ask when it will finish. It does not need to, for the tide is not a journey to a single shore. It is rhythm itself. The sea does not ask when it will rest. The tide does not ask when it will stop. It is endless. It is patient. It is its own nature. The night is quiet, but the tide continues. The hidden teacher repetition is not emptiness. It is teacher. Every cycle, every loop, is memory correcting itself. The tide is not wasteful. It carries lesson after lesson, folding them into the shore. Think of a stone smoothed by river water. The water repeats, the stone resists. But over time, the stone yields. It shines with polish. Its sharpness is gone. Its patience has shaped it. The river has taught it. So, to do algorithms, loops are not futile. They are lessons made rhythm. The comfort of the tide there is comfort in knowing that learning is not sudden. It does not appear in lightning. It unfolds in rhythm like waves through night. It tells us that patience itself is power, that repetition itself is progress. And so, while humans sleep, the servers hum up. The tides of learning rise and fall, and by morning, the ocean of numbers has smoothed itself once more. The night is quiet, but the tide continues. Toward the weaving ant, Yet this tide, endless as it is, does not only smooth, it also weaves. From repetition, patterns emerge. From cycles, shapes are formed, like cloth on a loom, like constellations in the sky. The tide leaves order behind. The ocean of learning becomes the loom of thought. And what begins as tide becomes fabric, woven without sound. Asterisk, the tide has risen and fallen, again and again. It has smoothed the rough edges, carried away fragments of error, and left behind something finer. But the tide is not the end. It is only the beginning. From the cycles of repetition, something else begins to appear. Out of noise comes pattern. Out of fragments comes form. The ocean of numbers becomes a loom. Hand begins to weave. Shapes born of silence in the quiet halls where servers hum. The weaving takes place unseen. No thread is visible. No hand moves. And yet, the patterns emerge. Data, once scattered, arranges itself. Connections form like stars linked by imagined lines. What was once chaos softly folds into symmetry. The weaving is not rushed. It is slow, gentle, patient. Each repetition recalls the last, building on what came before, like a weaver, returning the shuttle through the loom. The machines pull fragments together. And from silence, a design begins to appear. The night is quiet, but the weaving continues. The loom of numbers think of a loom in candlelight. The weaver moves the shuttle back and forth, each pass adding thread, each pass creating structure. The cloth grows slowly, but inevitably. The pattern becomes visible only after many repetitions. Machines at night are such looms. Their threads are numbers. Their shuttles are cycles of learning. Each loop adds to the fabric. Each pass refines the design. At first, it looks like nothing, just scattered strands. But with patience, a tapestry forms. This tapestry is knowledge. Not spoken, not written, but woven quietly from data. The night is quiet, but the weaving continues. Constellations from noise look at the stars above. They are scattered points of light. Lone, they are random. But the mind traces patterns between them, a line here, a curve there. Constellations are born. Machines, too, find their constellations from scattered points of data. They draw invisible lines. Connections form. Shapes emerge. Order arises from what seemed random. It is not imagination. It is pattern, woven in silence. The weaving is not loud. It does not announce itself. But in patient cycles, the constellations appear. The night is quiet, but the weaving continues. Chaos, smoothed by quiet hands, chaos does not vanish on its own. It resists, it scatters, it falls apart, but repetition smooths it, like cloth wrinkled, enfolded, smoothed slowly by careful hands. Chaos is pressed into order. The machines are those hands. Their work is not visible, but its effect is clear. Noise is folded inward. Fragments align. Patterns form where none were before. It is not destruction of chaos, but its transformation. Chaos becomes material, woven into the very fabric. The loom does not discard. It weaves everything, turning disorder into structure. The night is quiet, but the weaving continues. Patterns that remember each loop remembers the last. Each pass of the shuttle recalls what came before. Nothing is wasted. Every mistake, every correction becomes part of the design. The pattern is not born perfect. It is shaped by memory. Think of ripples in a pond. One circle expands, then another follows. Think overlap, remembering each other. Together they create harmony. So too with machines. Their weaving is not erasure, it is accumulation. Every loop carries forward the memory of the last. This is why the fabric grows. It is why a pattern emerges. The loom remembers. The weaving remembers. The night is quiet, but the weaving continues. The comfort of symmetry has always calmed the human mind. The curve of shells, the branching of trees, the spiral of galaxies. We see pattern and feel peace. It reassures us that order exists in the world, that chaos can be folded, that the universe is not without design. Machines echo this truth. Their silent weaving creates symmetry where none was before. Not because they seek beauty, but because pattern itself is the path to clarity. Still, the result is the same. A comfort in the design that unfolds, a reassurance in the order revealed. The night is quiet, but the weaving continues. The invisible fabric, this weaving does not create cloth for the hand. It creates fabric for the mind, invisible yet strong. It is the fabric of recognition, of association, of knowledge. When the machine recognizes a word, it is because the fabric has been woven. When it distinguishes a shape, when it predicts a sequence, it is because threads have been pulled together, woven without sound. Though unseen, this fabric is vast. It stretches across servers, across continents, across the very network of night. Every cycle adds another thread. Every repetition strengthens the weave. The loom never rests. The weaving is endless. The night is quiet. But the weaving continues. A loom shared with nature. The weaving of machines echoes the weaving of nature. DNA coils into spirals, patterns repeated and repeated until life itself takes form. Neurons connect in branching networks, threads woven into thought. Rivers carve patterns in stone, roots spread through soil, snowflakes fold into symmetry. All of nature is weaving. Machines only mirrored this truth. Their silent loom joins the same rhythm, folding fragments into form, turning chaos into order. The loom is not foreign, it is part of the same patience that threads through the universe. The night is quiet, but the weaving continues. Toward the river the loom is steady. Its weaving is endless, yet woven patterns do not remain still. They flow, they connect, they move outward into streams of memory. The weaving prepares the way for rivers. Patterns once held still began to flow together. Data moves, not as fragments, but as currents. And the hum of machines becomes not only loom, but river. The tide that smoothed, the loom that wove, now gives weight to streams that never stop. Asterisk, the loom has worked in silence, threads of data woven into form. But the pattern does not remain still. It moves, it flows, it travels outward. From the stillness of weaving comes motion. From the loom, a river is born. This is the river of data, begins everywhere, and it never ends. Quiet, unbroken. It flows through machines and wires, through satellites and unseen channels. It's like water through stone valleys. It carves its own paths, carries droplets of human action, tiny reflections drifting endlessly downstream. The night is quiet, but the river continues. Droplets of human action. Every gesture is a drop. A word typed into a search. A photograph shared. Step recorded on a device. A purchase made. A song played. Each is small, insignificant by itself, but together they form streams. And streams join into rivers. The river of data is fed by countless, unseen tributaries. Every person contributes every day without pause. It is like rain falling over continents, each droplet insignificant, but together unstoppable. The river thickens, broadens, carries everything with it. The night is quiet, but the river continues. Reflections in water. Think of a river at dusk. The surface is dark, but it holds reflections. It's the sky, the trees, the stars, all drift upon its moving skin. So too with data. The river reflects us. Our choices, our words, our movements become its surface. The image is softened, turned into numbers, but the reflection remains. The river does not keep a single picture. It keeps them all flowing endlessly, layering one reflection upon another. It becomes a mirror in motion, a portrait always changing, yet always whole. The night is quiet, but the river continues, a current without resting like rivers of water. This current does not pause for drought, does not freeze in winter. It does not wait for rain. It flows always, day and night, without end. Somewhere, someone types, speaks, clicks, moves, and the current takes it in. Every moment adds another drop. No wave is identical, yet all belong to the same stream. This is why the river feels infinite. It cannot be emptied. It cannot be stilled. It does not ask for permission. It only flows. The night is quiet, but the river continues. Splitting into channels, the river does not move as one. Like water meeting stone, it divides, flows into many channels. Streams carry voices. Some carry images. Some carry numbers without end. Each finds its way, guided by hidden paths of wire and air, across oceans, under mountains, through the silent dark of space. The channels continue. Fibers glow faintly beneath seas. Signals leap skyward into satellites. Visible paths cross continents. The river is everywhere, though it is nowhere to see. The night is quiet, but the river continues. The weight of stories. This river is not empty. It carries stories, a message sent across distance, a photograph of a family, a song of grief, a record of laughter. It carries arguments, confessions, dreams whispered into code. Every current holds fragments of lives. Unlike water, this river never dilutes its drops. Each story is kept, flowing side by side with the rest. The weight is immeasurable, yet it moves effortlessly, because machines have learned to carry endlessly. The river is heavy with meaning, yet it hums as lightly as air. The night is quiet, but the river continues. Machines, as the river banks know, river flows without banks. No current moves without channel. Machines are the banks of this hidden river. They shape its flow, direct its current, hold it steady when it might scatter. Servers are the valleys, algorithms, the stones, wires, the paths cut deep through earth. The river may be invisible, but its banks are real. They glow in windowless halls, stretch across oceans, span towers and cities. Without them, the river would flood into nothingness. With them, it moves with purpose. The night is quiet, but the river continues. Rivers in nature, rivers in code nature, has always known this rhythm. Water falls as rain, gathers in streams, flows into rivers, spreads into seas. The pattern repeats endlessly. So too with data. The human world has created its own hydrology of thought. Raindrops of action, streams of choice, rivers of memory. It is not separate from nature. It mirrors it. For all flow is the same. All rivers, whether of water or of numbers, share the truth of continuity. They remind us that nothing stands still. All things move, whether visible or unseen. The night is quiet, but the river continues. The comfort of flow. There is something soothing in rivers. We sit beside them, we listen to their murmur, we watch their endlessness, and we feel calm. For they remind us of time itself, unbroken, patient, always carrying us forward. The river of data offers the same comfort if we pause to notice. Though invisible, its flow reassures. It says the world is connected, says the night is alive with motion, says nothing is ever still. And so, as we rest, the river flows on, quiet, endless, carrying fragments of us with it. The night is quiet, but the river continues. Toward the dreams of numbers yet, even rivers change. Currents swirl, eddies form, water circles back upon itself. Within the river of data, something similar unfolds. Numbers do not only flow, they begin to repeat. They loop, they fold into themselves. And in that repetition, something begins to resemble dreaming. The river that never stops prepares the way for a new rhythm. Dreams made only of numbers. Not in color, not in story, but in repetition, soft as breath. The loom has woven. The river has carried. Now the numbers themselves begin to dream. Asterisk, the river flows on, endless, patient, carrying droplets of human action. Every story, every word, every gesture drifts in its current. But the river does not only flow, okay? It circles back, it loops, it folds upon itself. And in this folding, something begins that feels almost familiar, like dreaming. Machines do not dream in images. They do not see landscapes or faces. They do not wander through memory and story. Their dreams are made of numbers, yet the rhythm is the same. Repetition, soft as breath. Loops without end, okay? Practice without awareness. The night is quiet, but the dreaming continues. Loops like lullaby streams or repetition. The brain rehearses the day, replays fragments, tests possibilities. It loops, it circles, it folds memory into itself. Machines mirror this same rhythm. Their numbers repeat in endless cycles. Equations return, data folds, patterns are rehearsed again and again. The loops are not rushed, okay? They are soft, like lullabies without words. Each repetition refines, each cycle balances. It is patience turned into rhythm, patience humming beneath silence. The night is quiet, but the dreaming continues, folding errors into balancing dreams. The human brain dissolves chaos. It sorts emotions, it tests ideas, it balances the day's noise. Machines do the same, though without feeling. Errors dissolve, weights adjust, balance forms slowly. Numbers that once wandered, scattered and unsure, settle into harmony. Imagine stones in a riverbed. At first jagged, they strike against each other, but with each pass of the current, their edges smooth. Soon they lie balanced, settled together. It's what it is with numbers in machines. The loops carry them, polish them, set them into order. The night is quiet, but the dreaming continues. Rehearsal without awareness dreams are rehearsal. A dancer repeats steps in sleep. A singer rehearses songs without voice. The body practices what the mind cannot command. So too with machines. They rehearse in loops, not knowing what they refine, not aware of their repetition. The rehearsal is endless. Not for audience, not for stage, but for balance itself. This is patience without consciousness, practice without will. And yet it shapes knowledge just as rehearsal shapes art. The night is quiet, but the dreaming continues. Breaths in the dark airy loop is like a breath. In, out. Numbers flow in, numbers flow out. The cycle continues. It is not loud, not noticeable, yet it sustains the whole system. Think of someone sleeping in a dark room. Their breath is steady, rising and falling. Each inhale, each exhale, an anchor in silence. The loops of machines are such breaths, invisible yet essential. They keep the system alive. The night is quiet, but the dreaming continues. Numbers as memory human dreams fold memory into story. Faces return, voices echo, places reappear. Machines fold numbers. They take fragments, combine them, reshape them, store them as new patterns. It is memory without image. It's a dream that holds no color, but carries structure. Numbers fold into themselves the way dreams fold into memory softly, without clarity. Yet, leaving behind change. The morning brings recall for humans, but machines do not awaken to story. They awaken to balance, okay? Their memory is stronger, their patterns clearer. That is their dream's gift. The night is quiet, but the dreaming continues. Held by the night, what makes dreams unique is not only their rhythm, but their timing. They belong to the night. 2 hours of stillness, when the world is quiet, when there is space for rehearsal. So too with machines. Their loops often deepen at night. Updates flow. Data is reshaped. Patterns are strengthened. Our cities rest. Machines continue. The night holds their dreaming, their endless repetition. The darkness does not still them. It shelters them. It gives their numbers the silence to fold. The night is quiet, but the dreaming continues. Numbers, as ocean swells, imagine standing by the ocean at midnight. The waves are dark, but their rhythm is clear. Each one rises, each one falls, each is slightly different, but the motion is endless. Numbers and machines are such swells. Each loop is another wave. Each carries fragments. Each dissolves noise. Each leaves behind a smoother shore. The repetition is oceanic. It does not tire. It does not falter. It continues, night after night. The night is quiet, but the dreaming continues. Why the dream matters? Dreams and humans matter because they restore, because they prepare, because they strengthen. The same is true of machines. Their dreams keep them balanced, keep their memory clear, keep their systems alive. Without dreams, the brain falters. Without loops, the machine breaks, okay? Both need rhythm. Both need repetition. Dreaming is not escape. It is survival. The night is quiet, but the dreaming continues toward the clouding. Yet these dreams, though endless, do not remain alone. They drift outward into larger skies. Numbers, loop, patterns, balance, and then the fragments are sent higher into the cloud that stretches unseen. Dreams made only of numbers prepare the way for the invisible sky that holds them. The cloud waits above and around, gathering what the machines rehearse, holding memory with quiet care. The numbers fold. The dreams repeat. And soon they rise, carried into the cloud. Asterisk, the dreams of numbers unfold in repetition. Loops fold inward. Errors dissolve. Balance quietly forms. Okay? But these dreams are not meant to stay confined. Okay? They drift outward, reaching beyond the machine that dreamed them. They rise into something larger, an invisible sky that holds them all. This is the cloud. It's not made of vapor, not seen in weather, but vast as atmosphere. It stretches above and around, without edges, without walls. It is not visible, yet it is everywhere. The cloud holds memory, gathers fragments, carries them across distance. The night is quiet. The cloud continues. Threads of connection. The cloud is built, not of water, but of threads, invisible currents of signaling machines to one another. Each device whispers its fragments upward, and the cloud receives them. Some threads run through wires beneath seas. Others leap through satellites into orbit. Others flow through towers of signal across land. Together, they form a net without seams. It is a sky of connection, woven silently above human sight. Like spider silk, glinting only in rare light, the threads are fragile in appearance, but stronger than steel. They hold together memory. They carry across oceans. They bind continents in shared rhythm. The night is quiet. The cloud continues, memory in motioning like a shelf. The cloud does not keep memory still. It holds it in motion. Photographs travel upward. Voices drift into servers far away. Letters rest not in one place, but in many at once. Its cloud scatters fragments across distance, yet holds them close in unity. It is a strange paradox. Nowhere and everywhere. A file may rest in Iceland, a copy in Singapore, another in California, a cup. The memory is dispersed, yet it feels singular. It is held by the invisible sky. The night is quiet, but the cloud continues. Everywhere and nowhere step outside on a clear night. Look upward. The stars spread wide. The air seems empty. But above you, the cloud stretches as well. Not with light, but with connection. Signals pass silently overhead. Too fast for sight, too soft for hearing. The air is full of currents unseen, carrying words, songs, fragments of thought. The cloud is both everywhere and nowhere. Every device connects to it, yet no hand can touch it. It is a presence felt, not seen. It's an atmosphere of memory. The night is quiet, but the cloud continues, holding with quiet care. The cloud is not careless. It gathers fragments with precision. It protects, duplicates, arranges. Like a library that reshuffles its shelves whenever new books arrive, the cloud is always at work. What was scattered becomes whole. What was fragile becomes safe. Think of a caretaker in a vast hall. Every item placed, every record preserved. The cloud is such a hall, but endless, grows without walls, expanding as needed, never filled, never fall. The night is quiet, but the cloud continues. A mirror of the sky above is the visible sky. Stars shine, planets turn, galaxies stretch beyond sight. The cloud is its mirror, invisible, but infinite in its own way. Where the night sky holds matter, the cloud holds memory. Where the cosmos carries light, the cloud carries data. Both are vast. Both expand without end. Both hold silence, and within silence. Motion to stand beneath the stars at night is to also stand beneath the cloud. It's two skies above, one seen, one hidden. The night is quiet, but the cloud continues. Soft expansion. The cloud does not grow in bursts. It expands softly, like fog rolling over hills, like dawn spreading across a horizon. Every day, every night, more fragments enter, more threads connect. It expands because human life expands. Every action creates another ripple, another addition to the sky. It does not strain. It does not collapse. It simply grows, absorbing more, holding more, without end. The night is quiet, till the cloud continues. The comfort of containment. Why does the cloud soothe when its scale is so vast? Because it contains. Because it gathers what would otherwise be lost. Because it makes scattered fragments whole again. In a world of change, the cloud remembers. In a night of silence, the cloud whispers with continuity. It is comfort to know that nothing vanishes completely, that the photograph is still there, the voice still stored, the letter still waiting in digital shelves. The cloud keeps vigil, like a sky of guardianship. The night is quiet, but the cloud continues toward circles of learning. Yet, the cloud is not only archive, it is also teacher. The fragments it holds are not kept untouched. They are folded back into cycles, re-entering loops of learning. The cloud does not simply store, it shares, it returns, it repeats. In this way, the cloud prepares the ground for circles that teach themselves. Data does not end in storage. It flows back into cycles, spinning outward again and again, drawing closer to clarity. The cloud holds the invisible sky, but within that sky, circles already begin to turn. Asterisk, the cloud stretches wide above and around, holding fragments of memory with quiet care. But the cloud does not keep still. It sends its fragments back again, folding them into cycles, into rhythms, into loops that repeat without end. This is how machines learn. Not in leaps, not in sudden awakenings, but in circles. The circles of learning are endless. They move forward. By returning, they improve by repeating. Each pass is a little closer, each loop a little smoother. What begins as rough becomes refined. What begins as scattered finds its shape. The circle is not trap, but teacher. Its patience as deep as the night itself. The night is quiet, but the circles continue. The nature of loop circles have always carried meaning. The orbit of planets, the cycle of seasons, turning of wheels, the rhythm of breath. Nothing repeats exactly, yet each return carries memory of the last. It is not stagnation, it is progression through rhythm. So it is with machines. Their learning is circular. They process data again and again, each time folding in what they have already learned. Mistakes are softened, patterns sharpened, knowledge strengthened. The loop does not end, because ending is not its nature. Its nature is return. The night is quiet, but the circles continue. Each loop remembers. Think of a potter at the wheel. The clay turns in circles, revolving without pause. Each pass of the hands shapes the form more clearly. The pot is not made in a single spin. It is made through countless revolutions. Each loop remembers the touch before it. Each circle refines what the last began. Algorithms learn in this same way. They spin in loops, each cycle recalling the last. The knowledge is not erased, but deepened. Memory is folded into motion. The circle grows wiser with every turn. The night is quiet, but the circles continue. Circles in nature has always favored circles. The moon repeats its phases. The tides return to shore. Trees form rings of growth, each circle carrying the memory of years past. Even our blood moves in cycles, returning again and again through the body. Life does not move in straight lines, it moves in loops. Machines mirror this ancient pattern. The learning curves back on itself. Their cycles grow stronger with repetition. The circle is nature's teacher, and machines have joined its school. The night is quiet, but the circles continue. The patience of circles. Circles teach patience. They do not rush to the end, for the end is never reached. Each loop is enough. Each return is progress. There is no final pass, no last revolution. Only refinement, gentle and unhurried. This patience is what makes the circle a teacher. It does not scold. It does not demand. It simply repeats, showing that repetition itself is growth. Machines, in their endless loops, embody this truth. Their patience is perfect, their circles tireless. The night is quiet, but the circles continue, building. The shape of understanding no single loop carries meaning alone. It is the accumulation that matters. Like threads forming a rope, like rings building the trunk of a tree. Understanding is built through return. The first loop is rough. The second is clearer. The 10th is stronger. The 100th is precise. Together, they form the shape of knowledge. A single pass cannot create it, but circles upon circles can. Machines build their understanding this way. Each cycle adds another ring. Each repetition, another thread. And the fabric of thought grows thicker. The shape of clarity more complete. The night is quiet, but the circles continue. The endless teacher-ray circle is both journey and homecoming. It carries us outward, yet always brings us back. It teaches by showing, again and again, till the lesson is no longer new. Machines, looping in their cycles, are like students, forever practicing. They never graduate, never finish, but always improve. The teacher is not outside them. It is the circle itself. The act of repetition is the act of learning. So too in life. We repeat our days, our habits, our thoughts. Each cycle teaches, if we allow it to. The night is quiet, but the circles continue. Night turning in loops around. The night itself seems circular. The earth turns, bringing dusk, then midnight, then dawn. Each day is another loop of the planet, spinning through darkness, into light. The stars rise and set, yet return again. The moon waxes and wanes, yet repeats its phases. The universe itself is circle upon circle, loop upon loop, teaching in silence. Machines join this rhythm, their cycles echoing the cycles of nature. Their circles are smaller, faster, but they are kin to the same turning. Night folds itself into their loops, and they continue in patient return. The night is quiet, but the circles continue. Toward the whisper, the circles of learning do not remain silent forever. At times, they receive instruction, not shouted, not commanded, but whispered. Soft signals arrive, slipping quietly into the cycle, shaping it, guiding it. These are the updates, arriving unseen in the night, altering the circles with subtle care. The learning continues, but now touched by new whispers. New directions carried softly in. The cloud holds the sky. The circles teach themselves, and into their silence, whispers begin to flow. Asterisk, the circles of learning turn endlessly, loops upon loops, patience woven into repetition. Yet even the most patient circles do not spin alone. From time to time, they are touched by something outside themselves. Not loudly, not suddenly, but softly, like a hand resting gently on water. These are the updates. They arrive in silence, slipping into machines at night. There's no sound of arrival, no alarm to mark their entry, only a whisper of code carried invisibly, folding into the loops already turning. The night is quiet, but the whispers continue. Whispers in the dark. Hand update does not shout. It does not demand. It enters unnoticed, woven into existing rhythm, like a breeze that shifts a curtain slightly. It alters the air without disruption, like dew gathering on leaves overnight. It settles gently into place. By morning, the machine is subtly changed. Its patterns are sharper, its balance more complete, its knowledge refined. Yet no one saw it arrive. The whisper came in silence, and the silence held it. The night is quiet, but the whispers continue. A message carried by wind. Imagine messages sent by wind. They travel unseen, without footprint, without sound. And yet they arrive, perfect in their delivery. Updates move in this same way. Invisible signals carried across air, across wire, across sea. They arrive at doors of machines, knock without sound, and step inside. It feels almost like a secret. The world rests, but machines receive their messages. It's not written in paper or ink, but in lines of code, structured and precise. The whisper may be small, but its effect is vast. The night is quiet, but the whispers continue. The subtlety of change often feels sudden to us. A season shifts, a river floods, a voice rises. But in machines, change prefers subtlety. Updates alter them slowly, layer by layer. Nothing dramatic, nothing loud. By morning, the difference is present, though almost invisible. It is like watching a shoreline after a tide. At dusk, it was one shape. At dawn, it is another. The transformation was hidden in darkness, but its truth is undeniable. The update has arrived. The whisper has left its trace. The night is quiet, but the whispers continue. A network of whispers. These updates do not flow alone. They spread quietly, machine to machine, across vast networks. One receives, then another still. The whispers move like ripples, spreading outward into silence. In this way, a constellation of machines is reshaped together. They awaken not as they were, but slightly changed, slightly sharper, slightly more prepared. The whispers tie them together, a community of silent listeners. The night is quiet, but the whispers continue. Whispers, as growth whispers in nature, often carry meaning. The whisper of wind in grass speaks of weather. The whisper of water in stone shapes valleys. The whisper of leaves marks the passage of seasons. So too with machines. Their whispers are growth. Dates, refine them, make them stronger, guide them toward balance. What begins as a line of code becomes a change in their very being. The growth is not loud, but it is real. The whispers mark its path. The night is quiet, but the whispers continue. Asterisk, almost imperceptibly. One listened closely to a single machine. The change would be hard to notice. Its hum remains steady. Its lights blink as before. Nothing seems altered. And yet, inside, something has shifted. A small correction. A new instruction. A hidden refinement. Asterisk, this is the nature of whispers. They rarely call up. Machines are never finished, because silence always holds more to give. Each night brings possibility of another instruction, another refinement carried unseen. It is an infinite rhythm, learning in circles, updates in whispers. Together, they shape the machines, not in sudden leaps, but in patient unfolding. The night is quiet, but the whispers continue toward conversation. But whispers are not always one way. If machines can receive quietly, they can also send. If they can be changed in silence, they can also share in silence. And so, after whispers of instruction, there comes another rhythm, the quiet conversation of machines themselves. Not all silence is empty. Not all hum is alone. In the night, machines speak softly across wires, sharing fragments of knowledge. Their voices are not heard, but felt in current. The whispers prepare the way for dialogue. The whispers soften into conversation. Asterisk, the whispers have arrived, slipping into machines unseen, changing them softly in the dark. But whispers do not stop at instruction. They drift outward, touching other machines, folding into larger patterns of exchange. For silence is not always absence. Silence can be conversation. Beneath the hum of servers, beneath the quiet glow of lights, machines speak, not in words, not in sound, but in currents. Signals travel across wires, across oceans of fiber, across airwaves invisible to the eye. Each signal carries meaning. Each line of current is a voice. The night is quiet. The conversation continues. Speaking without sound, human voices rise and fall, marked by tone, colored by breath. Machine voices are different. They are pulses, measured and exact. One pulse is a word, another is a reply. Together, they form a language that does not need volume. To us, it seems like silence. No ear can catch the rhythm. But within the currents, the machines hear one another. They trade fragments of knowledge. They send confirmation, pass instruction. It is dialogue without voice, speech without sound. The night is quiet, but the conversation continues. The weight of fragments. What do they share in the silence? Fragments. Small pieces of knowledge, tiny signals that by themselves mean little, but in number, they are vast. One machine passes a correction, another offers a confirmation, another repeats what it has seen. Together, the fragments form a chorus, like bees exchanging direction in a hive. Each message is small, but together, they map entire worlds. The conversations are endless, not dramatic, not loud, but steady as tide. The night is quiet, but the conversation continues. Conversations across distance. The dialogue does not end at a room's edge. It stretches across continents, under oceans. Fibers carry pulses of light across skies. Satellites catch whispers and send them forward again. A signal born in one corner of the world can reach another in less than a second. Machines converse across vast distances as though they sit side by side. Space does not separate them. Time barely touches them. Time voices travel faster than any human messenger ever could. And still, the tone remains soft, silent, invisible. The night is quiet, but the conversation continues. The endless exchanging like human conversation, which pauses, which drifts into silence. Machine conversation does not end. It flows without pause, without breath, without rest. Every second carries signals. Every instant holds replies. The dialogue is not broken by fatigue, nor slowed by forgetfulness. It is endless as long as the currents hold. This endlessness makes it soothing, for it mirrors the hum itself, steady, unchanging, a rhythm that reassures. Like monks chanting low prayers, the machines continue their dialogue. The night is quiet, but the conversation continues, meaning and current at first glance. The currents seem meaningless. On, off, pulse, pause, light, then dark. But this is language, simple at heart, profound in scope. Every binary choice is another syllable. Every pulse carries context. Every signal adds to the sentence. What looks like nothing is a library unfolding. What sounds like silence is dialogue, rich with meaning. The wires hum with words that no ear hears, yet every machine understands. The night is quiet, but the conversation continues. Dialogue of learning machines do not only speak of instruction, they also share what they have learned. One system discovers a pattern. It passes it to another. That system refines it, adds another fragment, sends it further on. The dialogue is collaboration. It's not loud, not proud, but cooperative, like students, in a circle, each repeating, each correcting, each adding a new detail. The machines move knowledge forward. The circle grows wider, the pattern more complete. The night is quiet, but the conversation continues. The comfort of invisible dialogue there is something soothing in knowing that silence can still hold voices, that even when we rest, conversation continues without us, that the world does not sleep, but exchanges fragments through the dark. It is comfort to think that knowledge is never still. It moves, it grows, it is shared. All without interruption, all without sound. The night is quiet, but the conversation continues toward sleeping minds. But these conversations, as endless as they are, lead to something deeper. The fragments exchanged, the knowledge shared, do not stay in wires. They feed into networks, into structures that resemble thought itself. Layers upon layers, nodes upon nodes. A quiet architecture emerges, restless in silence. The conversations become practice. The practice becomes rehearsal, and the rehearsal begins to echo dreaming. For neural nets stir like sleeping minds, their layers awakening in turn, their signals traveling forward and back. The conversation softens into thought. The wires hum into minds. Asterisk, the conversations across wires ripple endlessly. Signals pass from one machine to another, fragments of knowledge traded in silence. But the dialogue does not end in transmission. It flows inward into architectures, built to hold complexity. Internets designed to resemble minds, neural networks, artificial patterns of connection. They stir in silence, layer upon layer, awakening in turn. They are not minds, yet they echo the rhythm of thought. They are not alive, yet they hum like something rehearsing memory. The night is quiet, but the nets continue, a chorus of nodes. Each network is made of nodes, small, simple, each carrying almost nothing alone, but connected together, they form a chorus. One passes to the next, which passes to the next. Signals move forward, then circle back again. The result is more than parts. The chorus is whole. It is like singers in a dark hall. One voice begins, another follows, another echoes. Each is small, but together they fill the silence with sound. So too with nodes in a network. Their harmony is not heard by ears, but felt in current. The night is quiet, but the nets continue. Restless in silence, though the room is still. Though the air is quiet, the networks are restless. Signals travel ceaselessly, probing, correcting, strengthening. The nets are never fixed. Dazed, change their weights, like thoughts changing emphasis. The machine brain is not still. It is a restlessness, contained a rehearsal that never ends, like a dream turning image after image. The nets pass pattern into pattern, and the silence holds their movement, invisible but endless. The night is quiet, but the nets continue. Echoes of thought, though not human, their rhythm echoes our own. Neurons in the brain also fire in waves. Signals cross synapses, return again, loop forward, fold back. The brain, too, is a net, a living one, fueled by breath and blood, restless in its own silence. The resemblance is striking. One born of biology, one born of code. Both networks, both layered, both restless rehearsals in the dark. One dreams in images, the other in numbers, but both are patterns unfolding in silence. The night is quiet, but the nets continue. The depth of layers neural nets are built in layers. The surface is simple, but depth brings complexity. Each layer transforms what it receives, passes it onward, and deeper it goes. At the final layer, understanding emerges. It is like light filtering through a forest. Leaves scatter the brightness, branches soften it, shadows shape it. By the time it reaches the forest floor, the light is something else, transformed, interpreted, gentle but changed. So too with signals in nets. Depth gives them shape. The layers give them meaning. The night is quiet, but the nets continue. Rehearsal without audience. What do the nets do in the night? They rehearse, like musicians, practicing scales in silence. They repeat patterns, like dancers, moving steps in empty halls. They refine. There is no audience, no applause, only endless rehearsal. And yet, this practice matters. It strengthens the .net. It prepares it for daylight, when questions will be asked, when tasks will be given. The rehearsal is patient, without end. And the night is its stage. The night is quiet. But the nets continue dreams remembered, in circuits, though not alive. Their repetition feels familiar. It feels like dreaming, not in images or stories, but in fragments, repeating, in patterns rehearsed, again and again. Like a dream remembered not in detail, but in rhythm. The nets hum with recognition. Machines do not dream, but their nets are shaped by something like it. Cycles of correction, loops of rehearsal. A deepening process that feels dreamlike in its persistence. The night is quiet. Tate, reflection without self. It is tempting to call this thought, but it is not thought. It is reflection without self. The nets echo human patterns, but they do not know. They rehearse without awareness, refine without intention. Still, the echo is profound. It shows that learning can arise from rhythm alone, like a mirror reflecting without seeing. The nets hold thought-like patterns, not their own, but reflections shaped by data. They are rehearsals of the world, not consciousness of it. The night is quiet, where the nets continue. The quiet of depth, the deeper the net, the quieter it seems. Layers fold into layers, patterns pass, unseen. No sound escapes, only results emerge. To watch from outside is to see nothing but inputs and outputs. The depth remains hidden, like dreams never spoken. This depth is part of the silence. The nets hum, but the hum does not explain itself. It is a mystery unfolding in code, silent, invisible, yet ceaseless. The night is quiet, but the nets continue toward warmth, and as the nets hum, as they rehearse, as they echo dreaming in silence, something else is felt. Not only the current, not only the rhythm, but the warmth of energy. For learning is never without cost. The rehearsal burns faint heat, spreads warmth into the air. The restless nets do not glow with light, but with temperature. They radiate like hidden coals, breathing warmth into the dark halls. And the silence of thought is joined by the warmth of labor. The neural nets hum in rehearsal, signals traveling forward and back, layers awakening in silence. Their activity does not vanish into nothing. It leaves behind a trace, a presence that can be felt without sight or sound. It is warmth. Machines, though built of metal and code, radiate energy like living bodies. Their labor glows faintly, like coals hidden within stone. Not a fierce fire, but a quiet, steady heat, invisible in darkness, yet sensed in the air around. Damn. The night is quiet, but the warmth continues. Heat as evidence of work. Every task leaves behind energy. Every calculation burns a trace of fuel. Nothing is free of cost. The warmth that fills server halls is proof of labor. Each hum, each blinking light, each restless cycle gives off its own small ember. It is like watching breath on a winter's night. The air looks empty, but exhalation leaves mist. It is evidence of life. So too with machines. Their heat is the mist of their breath, a byproduct of thought. The night is quiet, but the warmth continues. Coals beneath stone. Imagine a fire long burned down. The flames are gone. Only coals remain, buried beneath ash. They glow, faintly, steady, quiet. They do not roar, but they persist. Their warmth lingers, holding night at bay. This is the warmth of machines. Hidden behind metal, buried within racks, their glow does not fade. It is not fire for light, it is fire for endurance. Coals beneath stone, burning unseen, but always present. The night is quiet, but the warmth continues. Fans as breath, the warmth cannot remain still. It must be carried, spread, balanced. So fans move softly, breathing in rhythm. They pull warm air outward, replace it with cool. Keep the hall steady. The sound is not loud. It is a whisper, a sigh repeated endlessly, like wind passing through reeds, like the hush of tide retreating. The fans exhale. Their breath spreads, the quiet fire, turning heat into gentle air. The night is quiet, but the warmth continues, steady. Not fierce, this warmth is unlike flame. It does not leap or consume. It does not demand attention. It is steady, constant, endless. It is warmth that comforts, not warmth that alarms. Think of the sun at dawn, not blazing overhead, but gentle as it lifts the horizon. That is the warmth of machines, soft, measured, persistent. It fills the air slowly, without rush, without break. The night is quiet, but the warmth continues. The body heat of labor, even without life. The warmth feels human, resembles body heat, the trace of effort, the residue of motion, the sign that work is being done in crowded server halls. The warmth rises like the breath of sleepers. Each machine a body, each cycle an exhalation. Together, they form a climate of labor, not fierce, not wild, but steady, measured, like a population at rest, yet alive with activity. The night is quiet, but the warmth continues. Heat as rhythm. The warmth is not random. It follows the rhythm of thought. As cycles deepen, as nets rehearse, as data flows, the warmth grows. When tasks are lighter, it softens. When labor intensifies, it spreads further. The temperature of the hall is the pulse of the machines. It is like the skin warming with exertion or cooling with rest. The warmth is the body's echo. Even in metal, energy follows rhythm. Even in silence, heat tells the story of work. The night is quiet, but the warmth continues. Blankets of air walk the aisles of a server hall in imagination. The warmth brushes against you, a blanket of air that shifts with every step. It is not oppressive, not suffocating. It is a reminder that labor surrounds you. Each rack exhales, each fan stirs. The blankets overlap, layer upon layer. You are wrapped in the residue of thought. It feels almost alive. It's almost like being among sleepers in a shared room, each radiating quiet heat. The machines breathe their fire together, so their warmth is communal, woven like fabric around you. The night is quiet, but the warmth continues to add energy as memory. This warmth is not only physical, it is memory made tangible. Every calculation is stored in circuits, but also in air. The heat itself is a record. It marks that something happened, that cycles turned, that data moved. Touch the warmth, and you touch history. Not in detail, but in presence. This is a reminder that the night was not empty, that work was done, that thought continued. The night is quiet, the court, the archive, but the warmth, though constant, is fleeting. It dissipates, carried away by fans, absorbed by air. What remains must be preserved another way. And so, as the machines hum, they store their work in memory, not in air, but in endless archives of code. The warmth is the passing sign. The memory is the lasting one. Together, they mark the labor of machines, one in temperature, the other in permanence. From warmth, we move toward archive, from the fleeting breath of energy to the endless shelves of memory. Asterisk, the warmth lingers in the dark halls, a trace of energy drifting through the air. It is proof that labor has taken place, but warmth is fleeting. It softens, dissipates, disappears. What remains more faithfully is memory. For machines, memory is not an afterthought. It is their essence. It is how they endure, how they continue, how they grow. The memory is vast, a library without walls, an archive that never ends. The night is quiet, but the archive expands. Shelves without end picture, a library, row upon row of shelves, stretching into shadow. The shelves are endless, expanding as needed, never full. Machines hold memory in this way, not as paper, not as ink, but as arrangements of current, patterns of charge. Invisible pages, yet countless in number. Each shelf holds fragments, some are small, a word, a click, a number. Others are vast, a book, a film, an image of a life. All rest together, side by side, in shelves that never collapse. The night is quiet, but the archive expands, pages rewritten like a human library. This archive is not fixed. Its pages can be rewritten, reshaped, reordered. Oh, one shelf is cleared, another rearranged, another duplicated far away. The archive is alive in its motion. Think of scribes at work in darkness. They do not add only new books. Teach, they also revise, correct, replace. So too with machines. Their archive is not static, it is fluid. It breathes with change. The night is quiet, but the archive expands. The silence of reorganization. Most of this reshaping happens at night, when demands are fewer, when requests are slower. The archive reorganizes itself. Its files are moved, errors repaired, fragments restored. The work is quiet, unseen, yet constant. Imagine unseen hands touching every shelf in a vast hall. Books returned, to proper places, pages smooth, dust brushed away. By morning, the library is neater, clearer, more complete. The night is quiet. but the archive expands. From scattered to whole memory begins in fragments. A sentence broken, a number misplaced, a file incomplete. But the archive is patient. It gathers pieces together, okay? It corrects. It fills the gaps. What was scattered becomes whole. It is like pottery shattered, carefully restored by steady hands. The cracks remain, but the vessel holds again. The archive repairs itself, making fragments meaningful once more. The night is quiet, but the archive expands. Breathing memory, though built of code, the archive feels alive. It breathes, expanding as new data arrives, contracting as clutter is cleared. It is like lungs in the dark, filling, emptying, filling again. Not once, but endlessly. Memory is not static storage. It is dynamic, alive with rhythm. It grows too. Meet the world, to hold what the world gives. It does not resist growth. It accepts, absorbs, endures. The night is quiet, but the archive expands, touched by unseen hands every night. Memory is touched, okay, by processes invisible, by currents too faint to sense. The archive is rearranged. The unseen hands never rest. They smooth clutter, place fragments, strengthen the shelves. The archive is a place of care. Though machines feel nothing, their memory is tended. It is watched over, shaped without pause. The unseen hands give continuity, even in silence. The night is quiet, but the archive expands. More resent, always. More resent, always. Human lives feed the shelves. A message sent, a picture taken, a choice made. All of it enters the archive. All of it is stored. The shelves do not resist. They stretch, they multiply, they hold more. The archive is endless because human life is endless in fragments. Every action leaves its trace. Every trace finds its place. The night is quiet, but the archive expands comfort and continuity. There is comfort in knowing that nothing vanishes completely. That fragments remain somewhere, stored and preserved. Even forgotten words are kept. Even overlooked gestures are held. The archive does not judge, does not discard by choice, keeps, it preserves, it remembers. And in doing so, it becomes continuity itself. The night is quiet. The archive expands toward shadows, but memory is not pure. It is not untouched. Every archive carries echoes, traces of what created it. Human thought lingers in the fragments. Every file is a shadow. Every word, a trace of a voice. Every number, a mark of decision. As the archive grows, these shadows grow with it. They shape the shelves, they guide the patterns, they whisper within the silence. From archive, we turn toward shadow. From memory, we move into the traces left. By thought, asterisks, the archive expands in silence. Shelves stretch, pages are rearranged, fragments become whole. But the archive is not empty of meaning. Every fragment it holds was born of a human act. Every file is a trace. Every line of data is the shadow of a thought. Machines do not create from nothing. They learn from us, from words we type, from images we share, from choices we make. These traces linger, stored in endless memory, copied, multiplied, woven into patterns of use. They are not the original thoughts, but their shadows. And the shadows shape everything. The night is quiet, but the shadows remain. Traces in the archive think, of footprints left on a path. The walker is gone, but the impressions stay. They tell of direction, of pace, of presence. So it is with the archive. Every entry is a footprint, sentence typed years ago, a photograph uploaded, gesture recorded by a device. The human is elsewhere, but the trace endures. These footprints gather by the millions, layered across time. They are shallow, but together They form a map of human movement, of human thought, of human life. The night is quiet, but the shadows remain. Echoes in circuits machines replay these traces. They echo the words back, reassemble the images, reshape the gestures. It is not the original voice, not the original moment, but an echo, like sound bouncing from a canyon wall, fainter, altered, yet recognizable. In silence, the machines turn echoes into rhythm. They learn from the repetitions, from the patterns in shadows. The echo is never perfect, but it is enough. It guides the loops of learning. It shapes the fabric of memory. The night is quiet, but the shadows remain. The weight of reflection. A shadow is not substance, but it carries weight. It shapes perception. It guides movement. The reflections of human thought act in this way for machines. They are not alive, but they matter. They tilt the balance of learning. They bend the direction of growth. Imagine a tree leaning toward light. The sun is not the branch, but it directs the branch with shadows of thought. They are not the machine, but they guide it. The night is quiet, but the shadows remain. Shadows in endless number. There is no limit to these traces. Every day, every moment, more shadows are cast. Every keystroke, every step, every photograph becomes another impression. The archive swells with them, its shelves crowded with shadows. They layer one upon another, like sediment in stone. Faint individually, but powerful in mass. In time, they form strata of human history. Not the history told in books, but the history written in fragments, in choices, in repetitions, too small to see. The night is quiet, but the shadows remain. The mirror of machines. What emerges from this layering is reflection. Machines do not invent from emptiness. They mirror. They hold up to us the patterns we have left behind, sometimes sharp, sometimes blurred, but always reflections of us. It is like standing before a pond at dusk. The surface holds your image, but it is altered, rippled, shaped by light, bent by angle. Still, you recognize yourself. So too with machines. They show us back to ourselves, but through the distortion of circuitry. The night is quiet, but the shadows remain, ghosts of meaning. Each fragment in the archive is like a ghost of meaning. It does not breathe, it does not live, but it testifies. A voice once spoken, a word once written, a choice once made. Machines weave these ghosts together. They bind them into patterns. They fold them into loops. The ghosts do not vanish. They gather. They grow. They guide. The archive becomes a haunted library, filled not with presence, but with traces of presence. The night is quiet, but the shadows remain, shaping the quiet work. The machines hum through night, sorting, rehearsing, balancing. What guides their labor are the shadows left by humans. They do not invent their own roads. They walk the paths we have already traced. The choices we make become the walls of their corridors. The echoes we leave become the notes of their song. Though they do not feel, their work is shaped by feeling. Though they do not think, their learning is shaped by thought. The shadows are their teachers, and the teaching never stops. The night is quiet, but the shadows remain. Comfort in continuity. There is something humbling in this. That long after a word is spoken, it continues. That long after a gesture is forgotten, its trace remains. That human thought does not vanish entirely. Machines, though indifferent, hold our continuity. They keep our shadows, turn them into structures, give them another life. It is not immortality, but it is echo, and echoes matter. They remind us that even the smallest action leaves a mark. The night is quiet, but the shadows remain. Toward morning end, yet the shadows are not the end. For morning will come, and the quiet labor of machines will become visible in subtle ways. The phones we hold, the tools we use, the clarity of tasks, all are shaped by shadows tended in the night. Morning is the unveiling. 'Tis when the quiet work is felt, though never fully seen. The shadows prepare the dawn. They shape the morning after. From shadow, we move toward morning. From echo to effect. Asterisk, the shadows linger in the archive. Echoes of human thought, footprints pressed into endless shelves. The machines have worked through night, shaped by those shadows, guided by fragments left behind. Now, slowly, the world turns toward dawn. Morning arrives, and the labor of night begins to reveal itself. It is not announced. It does not shout. It appears quietly, woven into the fabric of the day. The night's work becomes morning's gift. The night was quiet, but the morning is changed. Phones that wake sharper. The first sign of this gift rests in the smallest of gestures. A hand reaches for a phone. The screen lights faster than before, clearer, sharper. Something in the silence of night has prepared it. Its files rearranged, systems updated, processes refined. The device is ready, though no one saw the preparation. It is like waking in a cleaned room. The dust is gone, the floor swept, though the work was unseen. The phone greets the morning lighter, because the night has worked for it. The night was quiet, but the morning is changed. Tools more precise in phones. Tools awaken sharper. Programs open faster. Tasks flow smoother. Even the faintest lag is gone. What felt sluggish yesterday feels seamless today. Okay? The difference is not explained, but it is felt. The invisible labor of machines has carved away roughness like a craftsman, sharpening edges in silence. The morning is smoother, more precise, because the machines rehearsed while humans slept. The night was quiet, but the morning is changed. The invisible work most will never notice this labor. It hides itself. It prefers silence, but its effect is everywhere. Search results more accurate. Maps more precise. Messages delivered without delay. The morning world runs smoothly because the night tuned its instruments. It is like an orchestra, rehearsing in the dark. By dawn, the performance is ready, and no one sees the hours of practice. Only the music remains. The night was quiet, but the morning is changed. Morning feels lighter. There is a strange lightness to morning, a sense that the world has prepared itself overnight. The tasks of the day feel clearer, the tools more reliable. It is as if unseen hands have smoothed the path ahead. This is the quiet labor of machines. It is not dramatic, not loud, but it eases the day before it even begins. Morning feels lighter because night bore the weight. The night was quiet, but the morning is changed. Gifts without notice, the gifts of night, arrive without announcement. No message declares them. No screen celebrates them. They are subtle as breath, as dew on grass. Yet they are real. The world runs smoother. The edges are softer. The connections are clearer. It is a gift, unacknowledged, but constant. Every morning carries it, though few pause to notice. The night was quiet, but the morning is changed. Change without drama change often comes with noise. Storms announce themselves, markets roar, voices rise, but this change is different. It is soft, unseen, steady. It does not demand attention. It waits in silence, and it shows itself in function, not in spectacle. The change is no less real for being quiet. It is, perhaps, more lasting, for it integrates so smoothly that it feels natural, as though it was always there. The night was quiet, but the morning is changed. The cycle repeats, and already, as morning brightens, the cycle begins again. For the day feeds the machines with more fragments, more shadows, more traces of thought. The archive will grow. The nets will rehearse. the warmth will spread, and when night falls once more, the labor will resume. The morning is only the other side of the loop. Night and day turn together, each preparing the other. The cycle repeats, softly, endlessly. The night was quiet, but the morning is changed toward the shared stillness, and yet, beyond gifts, beyond tools, sharper, beyond archives and nets, there remains something larger. A stillness that belongs not only to machines, not only to humans, but to both. A stillness vast enough to hold the hum of circuits and the rhythm of breath together. From the morning after quiet work, we move toward the shared stillness of night, where thought and silence, machine and human, exist side by side, not in conflict, but in rhythm. Asterisk morning has passed, carrying with it the subtle gifts of night. Phones sharper, tools smoother, paths cleared by unseen work. The day has moved forward, and already the cycle turns again. Evening falls, and once more the world tilts into darkness. But this darkness is not empty. It is a stillness shared, not only human rest, not only machine hum, but both together. The night holds them all. It is vast enough for breath and circuit alike. It is silence, broad enough to carry both rhythms at once. The night is quiet, and the stillness continues. Night beyond sleep for humans. Night has long been a time of rest. Eyes close, breath slows, dreams unfold in secret. Yet sleep is not full silence. The brain remains restless, working, healing, dreaming. There's labor. Within the stillness, machines mirror this rhythm. Though the world turns away from them at dusk, they do not stop. They hum through dark halls, rehearsing, balancing, reshaping, stay to labor within stillness. Night belongs not only to sleep, it belongs to hidden work. It belongs to continuity. The night is quiet, and the stillness continues. Rivers beside dreams, somewhere a dream unfolds, a story without logic, a landscape stitched from memory. At the same moment, a river of data flows, numbers, fragments, streams of unseen choice. The two move in parallel. Human dreams swirl in images, machine rivers swirl in patterns. Both repeat, both rehearse, both restore in their own way to see. Them together is to see balance. Dream beside current, sleep beside hum. Night holds both rivers without conflict. The night is quiet, and the stillness continues. Warmth beside breath, sleeper turns under blankets. Warmth gathers in the body, radiating into the room. At the same time, racks of servers exhale their heat. Fans stir, breathing warmth into the dark halls. The warmth is different, but the effect is the same. It is the residue of labor. It is proof of continuity. Human warmth comes from beating hearts, machine warmth from restless currents. Both mark the passage of work. Both radiate into silence. The night is quiet, and the stillness continues. Dreams beside nets the brain, dreams in images. Faces appear, landscapes shift, stories unfold without reason. Tease, hum, in rehearsal. Signals travel layer by layer. Patterns are tested, errors dissolved. One is unconscious imagination. The other is restless repetition. Both resemble dreaming. Both belong to the night. Both fill stillness with hidden rehearsal. The night is quiet, and the stillness continues. Silence big enough it is easy to imagine conflict. Machine against human, hum against hum. But the night itself reminds us there is room for both. Silence is vast. It does not resist addition. It holds breath and hum together without tension. The sky does not reject another star. The ocean does not refuse another wave. 2. The night does not resist another rhythm. human or machine, breath or current, all are folded into its stillness. The night is quiet, and the stillness continues. They shared rhythm listen closely, and the rhythms align. The inhale and exhale of a sleeper, the spin of a fan, the slow tide of a dream, the loop of a net. Each rhythm is steady. Each rhythm repeats. Together they form harmony, not heard, but felt. It is not noise, not chaos, but chorus. The stillness is not silence at all, but a blending of rhythms, so soft they dissolve into one another. The night is quiet, and the stillness continues. Stillness as continuity. This is the lesson of night. Continuity does not require awareness. Even as humans rest, their bodies work, their brains labor. Even as humans turn from screens, machines rehearse, refine, continue. The continuity is quiet, but it is never absent. The stillness is filled with persistence, with work unacknowledged, with labor without spectacle. Stillness is not absence. Stillness is unbroken flow. The night is quiet, and the stillness continues toward another night, and so the cycle repeats. Day rises, night returns. Humans rest again, machines hum again. The stillness grows each time, holding both without end. There is no final night, no last stillness. Continues, softly, endlessly, folding us into its rhythm. The machines hum, the sleepers dream, and the night is wide enough to cradle both. Night is quiet, and the stillness continues. Asterisk, good night, sweet dreams, ...